This short video is a video to restore balance and proprioception after an ankle, knee or hip injury. This patient has suffered an ankle injury recently, so we'll start on the first stage of an exercise to restore his balance and proprioception. So I'm going to ask him to balance just on his injured ankle. And if you look very closely, you can see that there are things moving about in the front of his ankle of which he has no control. That is his brain trying to put his body in the most appropriate position while he's just stood on the ankle. We would stand like that for 30 seconds. Once he's done 30 seconds, we can put his foot down. Then I'd ask him to repeat that again another 2 times. If he can repeat that 3 times for 30 seconds without him putting his foot down or grabbing hold of something, then he's ready to move on. And the next stage now would be to introduce a little bit of knee flexion or bending his knee. So if we now go up onto our injured leg, bend our knee a little bit more, just a touch, and that's fine. And now you can see that there's more movement. And that's because now he's got 3 joints which are involved in the proprioception chain. And again, it's the same principle. We will do that for 3 times for 30 seconds. Once he can achieve that, we're ready to move on again. And the third and final stage is to bend our knee much further. So if you like to bend your knee further, now he's in a really quite deep knee bend, and now he's struggling there because of the pain of his injury, because it's still a recent injury. So he's gone back a little bit, but he's now balancing there and he's doing really well. But now again, it's ankle, hip and knee. Once he can do that 3 times for 30 seconds, he's ready to move on. Now he's not ready to move on yet, but what we'll do, we'll move on to the next stage. So now we need to make the ground underneath his ankle unstable. You don't need a wobble board or anything like that. A rolled up towel or a pillow or cushion is quite suffice. Now look at the difference in his body now, just because he's on a rolled up towel. He's having to work so much harder at his balance and proprioception. What we would do then, we would move on to the next stage. Once he can do it 3 times for 30 seconds, we'd move on to the knee bent and then finally onto the knee bent much further. But this is a massive integral part of the rehabilitation for an ankle injury.